Hello, this is Drs. Anthony, Bob, and Kason DeMaria with another half off health for you. And tonight, we're going to talk about a subject that's near and dear to nearly 60% of you watching me right now. And that's about being overweight, obesity. You could call it any way you want. It's about being fat. I had to get that off my shoulders. Do you know that every pound that you're overweight adds 200 miles of extra blood vessels that your poor old heart, which is limping along, has to push blood through? That's one of the reasons that individuals have heart problems and high blood pressure. You know, recently we made a decision as an office worldwide to go on something called 2012, lose 20 pounds in 12 weeks. And if you have noticed me over the last years or so, just because of eating healthy food and maybe not getting as much exercise as I needed to during the wintertime, even though we exercise as much as we can, I was putting on a little extra real estate. So I made the wise choice, drew the line in the sand, and stepped over and said, enough is enough. So when I turned 50 years old, and I know I don't even look 50 years old right now, I had to pass a test called a BMI, Body Mass Index. I'm self-insured. In other words, I pay for my own health insurance, myself and Debbie. If we did not pass that BMI, we'd have to pay an extra $125 per month per person. Well, I passed my body mass index. And you can go to the internet and just type in body mass index, and I'm going to encourage you to do it. It's called Get to Know Your Numbers. You want to pass your body mass index. When we turn 55 years old, they're going to raise our rates $250 a month. You hear what I just said? That is $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year. So they raised our rate. My lovely wife called them up and said, hey, what's going on? You know what they said? You're 55. And she said, so what? And they said, well, you're in the 55-year-old category right now, and we're going to raise your rates. And my lovely wife, Holy Spirit, said, ask them what we could do. And they said, well, you have to pass your HA1C. I pleaded guilty. I had no idea what an HA1C was. A new test several years ago. So we did our HA1C, and guess what? We passed. HA1C is your blood glucose on a red blood cell. Now, I'm not going to tell you my age. You have to figure it out. I was born in 1954. And it was time. It was time for me to lose a little weight. So I did, and I continue to do that. What happened to me? I was eating organic food. Number one, I started looking at the calories. So I'm going to encourage you to do this right now. I eliminated the nuts that I was eating. I was eating too many nuts, almonds, walnuts, cashew. I was throwing some shredded coconut. I couldn't believe that a tablespoon of shredded coconut, there's a lot of calories in there. And I minimized the amount of salad dressing that I was using. I was putting almost 300 calories of salad dressing on my healthy salad. Minimized and eliminated spelt flatbreads, Hain mayonnaise. So I just became a calorie-conscious human being. Drank more water. I always drank water. I drink Dr. Bob's organic coffee, but I eliminated afternoon coffee at my office. Increased my exercise. Changed my whole body. I'll never not pass my BMI or my HA1C. So why am I saying this to you? I have a theory. You ready for this? If everybody in America right now had to start paying for their own health insurance themselves, guess what would happen? We would lose 1 trillion pounds in the United States. Excuse me, I had to get that off my chest. So let's talk, you guys. We got this big night.
It's a huge night. It's education about what is actually out there. Some of the things that Dr. Bob was talking about are things that Dr. Kason and I started incorporating in our lives. We used to drink organic coffee with organic half and half, and it's been almost 1.5 years now that we eliminated the half and half out of our lives. We also looked at other areas. You know, Dr. Bob mentioned salad dressing. So instead of using salad dressing, we started using half a lime and squeezing the lime juice on our salads every day when we have that. So it's just becoming more conscious and aware of what's out there as far as what you're putting in your body. I know that a lot of times when we talk about going out to eat or restaurants, you literally have no idea what they're cooking your food in and the amount of calories that you're getting. So start to become exactly what Dr. Bob said, calorie savvy. It's so important because exercise is important and correct food choices are important. And it's also not becoming lazy or complacent. So you say lazy or complacent, yeah, I am pinning you to the wall right now. You know, take a challenge, write down everything you're eating, count the calories that you're doing on a regular basis. If you're not shocked, you know, there's going to be something that's going on. So that's just one of the things that we're working on promoting, and you know, in the office is an awareness of obesity because it's becoming such a huge epidemic in America.
And I think also is that women out there, especially low fat, fat free, light, all of these buzzwords that you see, especially in the women's health magazines today. I know just perusing through there in the grocery line sometimes, what they're telling ladies to do with the fat-free and light, those things have sugar in them, and they're prohibiting people from losing weight.
Well, it's kind of interesting because we are in this low-fat craze and the massive amount. Let me just throw out some statistics. I just love statistics. In America alone, they make 8 billion pounds of trans fat or partially hydrogenated oils. And trans fat literally sabotages your body's ability to have pain relief and to lose weight. Do you know that they've done studies with trans fat and primates or monkeys? This is very interesting. They fed monkeys trans fat. They're 7% heavier than the animals that they fed olive oil to. I'll say that again. So if you're eating French fries, if you're eating Burger King or McDonald's French fries that are made in trans fat, you'll be 7% heavier because of the trans fat. The average American consumes 28 pounds of French fries every year. So they make 8 billion pounds of trans fat, and the restaurant industry alone uses 5 billion pounds. The average American consumes 252 meals out of the home. The average child consumes 167, and 31 million kids ate at the National School Lunch Program today. What I'm holding in my hand are soybean nuts. We don't promote soy, but the #1 oil in America today is soy oil. 70% of all oil is soy-based. They take the oil out of the bean using a chemical called hexane. Wow, hexane is a toxic chemical. And when we were off camera, Dr. Anthony and I were discussing just some of the little tips that you could do that you're going to help lose and minimize weight. And before I switch it over to Dr. Anthony, I had a conversation with someone this week, and they were upset. They're kind of upset with me because, see, my light is shining on their darkness. I said, hey, listen, have you noticed what happened to me the last couple of months? Yeah, I see. And they look at you like, yeah, I see. You're skinny and I'm not. So I said, well, what are you eating? And they said, well, every day I have breakfast and toast. Let me just throw this one thought out. If you just eliminate toast, one slice of bread has 100 calories in it, 70 to 100. You could save 700 calories a week times 4. You could lose a pound a month just by eliminating bread. So Dr. Anthony, the halo effect.
The halo effect. So we were talking about the halo effect. So when you go to a restaurant like McDonald's or Subway, the people that go to Subway are going to overestimate the amount of calories that they're not eating by 29% because of the halo effect from Subway, as they've tried to create with Jared and their whole weight thing that there's less calories in Subway. When you really go down and you look at the calories, there's just as many calories in Subway as there are in McDonald's and other foods. So it's really important to watch where the calories are coming from and avoid being part of the halo effect and participating in false advertising. Just because you might think it's healthy for you doesn't mean it's actually healthy for you.
And it's interesting because McDonald's halo effect is about 19%. So when you go to a counter, let's say you're going to go to Starbucks and they have this cake that's advertised there. People will buy more Black Forest German cake than they will chocolate cake. And actually the Black Forest is not even in Germany, but people will buy more depending on the label. People will buy more food on a piece of china that's out than a napkin. They've actually done studies. Now listen to this. If you go to a restaurant and they come up to you and they take, let's say you're eating chicken wings. You know one chicken wing has like 10 grams of fat in it, and 10 times 9 is 90. That means one chicken wing, 90 calories. And I have one individual that's in my life that he has chicken wings every Thursday. It's like, hello, buddy, you're going to get fat just going to the chicken wing place. So anyways, what happens is that they had these people eating chicken wings, and they had somebody come and take the chicken wings away from them. They were eating chicken wings, putting the bone down. The people who took the bones away, that group of people, ate 28% more chicken wings than the ones that were just sitting there. And then they did a study with the people who ate the most chicken wings and the ones who ate 28% less. And on the way out, this is so funny, they offered a chocolate chip cookie, a 450 chocolate chip cookie to both groups. The individuals whose bones were left there said no thank you. The people who they took the bones away, who already ate 28% more, took the cookie.
The psychology of food is far beyond what we could ever imagine. It's just one of those things that, you know, you really have to be conscious of what you're putting in your body. The one that I particularly like is the one about the size of the plate. If you have a larger plate, you're going to put more food on the plate. So Dr. Kaysen and myself, we eat most of our meals on the smaller bread plate because there's all the psychology behind the size of the plate. And within the last couple of months, we were at a restaurant. And when we were at the restaurant, it was supposedly a healthy restaurant. But what they brought out the food, it was in a big bowl, and there's a small sandwich in the bowl. And Americans are programmed big bowl, big food. And it was just the opposite. So all the psychology behind how you feel about your food is just as important about what you put on your plate.
Something I want to share is this past few weeks when we did our half hour to health on foods for summer. And we had this quiet little question from the audience, and it said, does that mean, Dr. Kaysen and Anthony, that all fast food is bad for you? And it's safe to say yes, because you don't know what kind of oils they're cooking the French fries or the burgers. And I know, especially with McDonald's, the chicken McNuggets, only 50% of those chicken McNuggets are chicken. So even when they're traveling, they're not considered a food. It's just the other chemicals that we're talking about, the agents like in lighter fluid, even nail polish remover, things like that are found in small traces of the chicken McNuggets.
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting. So right now as we're speaking and you're watching us, I know that 1/3 of all the kids in America today are going to eat at a fast food restaurant. And the #1 food that they're going to choose is a chicken nugget. It's very frightening. And I threw that statistic out at the very beginning. If you eat trans fat, you're going to be 7% heavier than those who do not. So we're going to give you some nuggets and some steps to lose weight. We have a couple more statistics. I think you have to have a huge epiphany of what's really going on. 60% of the people in the United States today are considered obese. Very frightening. We'll be right back. Hello, this is Drs. Bob, Anthony, and Kaysen DeMaria, and welcome once again to our Half Hour of Health program. And we've been talking about losing weight and oils, and there's so many challenges when it comes to weight. Dr. Kaysen mentioned something earlier that I want to repeat. Low fat means high sugar generally, because see, fat gives taste to food. So they put also sugar in it. And you have to watch out with gluten-free food, because a lot of times gluten-free also means that there's sugar in it. I want to just give you a real brief explanation of trans fat, and Dr. Anthony's going to share something with you also. What I have in my hand right now are 2 Frito labels. This Frito right here is flavored, and this is the regular. If you look really close at the side panels of these, if you have these at home right now, this particular one has trans fat in it. This one does not. But if you look really close at the top label here, it says 0 grams trans fat. See, in 1998, they released the nurses study, and they said that if a woman ate 1 gram of trans fat or more per day, it increases her chance of having heart disease by 20%. I'm going to say that again. In 1998, and think about what you're in right now, in 1998, they said if a woman had 1 gram of trans fat or more per day, it increases our chance for heart disease by 20%. And what have they been telling people to eat the last 30 years? Margarine, egg beaters, low fat. See, low fat has trans fat in it. Well, that's the equivalent of eating about a fourth of a peanut butter sandwich, a fourth of a donut. Items that have, even breakfast cereal is loaded with trans fat or partially hydrogenated oils. So if you see the label 0 grams trans fat, I want you to look at the side panel. And the side panel, if it has partially hydrogenated oils, the partially hydrogenated oils is the same thing as trans fat. I'll give you one more example. What I'm holding in my hand right now is instant oatmeal. There's no fat in here. But flavored instant oatmeal has trans fat or partially hydrogenated oils. Trans fat gives flavor to food. See, normal fat is C shape. Trans fat is T shape. Cell membranes are made up of C's. When you throw a C and a T together, it's confusion. We know that you can have pain, you could have dysfunction in your brain, depression, ADHD, Alzheimer's, and dementia by eating trans fat or partially hydrogenated oils.
That's really fascinating. I'm going to share with you a little bit about the different types of oils and why they're so important. Dr. Case and I were recently at a seminar, and the theory of oils was said it's the theory of everything, and because it's so important to understand where the oils are that's coming in your body. So what I have right here in this hand is corn oil. What I have here in this hand is flax oil. So there's essential fats that are in your body, and your brain runs on fat, and it needs the good fats, which are the omega-3 fats. But corn oil and soy oil and a lot of other oils like vegetable oil, and just saying that there's a lot out there and you should do some research on the oils that's there, those are high in omega-6 fatty acids. And the omega-6 fatty acids are the ones that cause pain and inflammation in your body. So we don't promote oils like corn oil because there's no nutritional value, and it also decreases those good fats in the body. So then this right here, this is flax oil. So flax oil is one of your good sources of omega-3, also fish oil. So one of the things that we've been working on educating our patients is so vitally important that you get sources of omega-3s on a regular basis, because those are the fats that your brain runs on. And it is so important that they called it the theory of everything. So that's just something to chew on. Do some research, go on the internet, look up the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 on all the oils that you use in your house for cooking, and I think you'll be surprised. The number that you want is going to be less than 4 to 1 omega-6 to omega-3, and omega-3s are the good ones. So I'm going to have Dr. Kaysen talk to us a little bit more of this product that you have in your hand.
Crisco. So I know a lot of people probably bake or cook with Crisco. I know a long time ago they always advertised on television Crisco commercials. But in this it says #1 ingredient is soybean oil, fully hydrogenated palm oil, partially hydrogenated palm and soybean oil. And then lastly it says that there's antioxidants in this. But on the front it says 0 trans fat. So I think it's really important, instead of just looking at the cover, to look at the trans fat, that you're actually reading the oils and the ingredients on the back, because a lot of people just don't realize, I think, that there is trans fat even though it says 0 trans fat in different ingredients.
You know, it just amazes me. So I have this breakfast cereal, it's called Smart Start, Heart Healthy. Now, you're a very smart audience. We just love and appreciate emails and calls and coming into the office. If you look at the ingredients in this product right here, it has partially hydrogenated oils. Way back in 2005, it was in the New York Times that people today are so confused they don't know what to do. Trans fat or partially hydrogenated oils is one of the leading causes of heart disease. I'll say that again. Trans fat or partially hydrogenated oils, which were originally designed to lower heart disease, and your conventional medical thinking healthcare provider has been telling you to do for the last 30 years, actually cause heart disease. Do you hear what I just said? So if I was going to be eating any kind of cereal, which I don't choose to eat cereal, I would have quinoa. It's a non-gluten grain. I might have some brown rice, some gluten-free oatmeal, but I would not, I'm going to repeat, I would not buy store-bought, commercially grade cereal. First, there could be wheat in there, which is a gluten issue, and it comes from genetically engineered corn. Now, fat is processed in the liver. The liver is the storehouse for vitamins A, D, E, and K. We have the technical ability in our practice to do an assessment of your heart with an electronic stethoscope. It's cutting-edge technology. Not to be silly, but your heart goes lub-dub, lub-dub. Blood flows through your legs, through your liver on the way back to your heart. If your liver is congested, the blood's going to slow down, impeding blood flow back to your heart. So what Dr. Anthony and Dr. Kaysen said, minimize the amount of fat that you're getting from trans fat, which I just had a trigger right now, and I was talking about the size of the liver. We have a particular person that came into our practice, and we take films when people come in. We take x-rays. Why do we take x-rays? To see is to know, and know is not to guess, and we don't want to guess about your health, so we look at your spinal films. That's just logical. We're not going around with a little divination stick. Okay, so this lady came in, and we looked at her AP lumbar. Her liver was way down into her pelvis. The liver is supposed to stop right below your ribs right here. So I said, hey, what is going on? And this person said, well, I don't know. I said, well, what are you drinking? And they had this like epiphany. They were drinking diet soda. She happened to work at a place that had limitless access to diet soda. Diet soda has aspartame in it, which eventually becomes formaldehyde. Her liver was compromised because of what she was drinking. The liver, and that's not even alcohol. It was worse than an alcoholic liver because, see, when you drink alcohol, which I was released by the grace of God in 1991 from alcohol, when you drink too much alcohol, you're going to pass out. When you drink too much soda, you're just going to drink more and get bigger. This is a pretend fire extinguisher. Now, this is so important for you to get this, okay? This puts out fires. Trans fat causes fires because trans fat stops the C molecules in your body. Dr. Anthony said something that was really important. Omega-3 fats put the fire out in your body. See, we're successful in our practice. We are super successful in our practice because we address the health triad: chemical, structural, and emotional. So you could be getting the very best adjustment in the world, but if you're eating a Pop-Tart or a Ho-Ho, you're going to have pain.